Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Live with Dr. David. I had a 20 some minutes to kill while the kids are getting their stuff ready to go home. I'm at the office and just kind of checking in, see who's out on a Friday night, who's cruising the YouTube scene, see if anybody shows up for a few minutes. If not, I'll delete this and we'll call it a night. Anyway, if anybody's out there, go ahead and type your name where you're checking in from in the chat. There's Ivy Red Bunny. Ivy Red Bean Bunny. There's Laura. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Oh, we got 18 people instantly. How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, Zeus Castaneda, welcome. Laura Thompson, Ivy Red, Healing Sounds. How you doing? Don't you guys have anything better to do than hang out with some dude in a funky shirt on a Friday night? All right, let me have them. I got till about 7:30-ish. What questions you got for me? I'm just kind of settling in here. I got production tomorrow. Jesus says, you're my date. Ooh, how inclusive of you. Cyrus from Brotherhood Society, I'm here. Hey. I can run, but I can't hide. Apparently not. It's Saturday for me, David. All right. Here I am. Ask away. Hey there, Stephen. I just saw you on Clubhouse. By the way, for those of you who care, I have a room on Clubhouse that I created many months ago called Mind Control Skills. If you like the Clubhouse scene and like the whole audio thing, why don't you go to Clubhouse and enroll in my Mind Control Skills group, and we'll start doing some Clubhouse get-togethers and things of that nature. Hey, there's Rick's Rock Raps. Hello, Paul. So what do you got? What kind of questions you have? You got me for a whole 18 minutes. What do you want to talk about? So Rock Raps is asking, so is there like a mild, covert kind and of can you rewrite the question, Rick? There's trance and hypnotism comes in again, anything that involves trance has levels to it. Some are more obvious and some are far more subtle. So that's a pretty good question. Yes, there are many different types of hypnosis. One of the things that most classically trained hypnotists don't recognize as hypnosis is any form of extreme emotional state combined with focus and concentration. And so every emotional state that human beings have is a trance. Anything that moves you from one emotional state or one trance state to another is technically a form of hypnosis. So let's see here. Ivy Red Bean Bunny is asking how to process people stepping out of your life. I'm terrible with self-soothing and emotional regulation, trying to chase people after they leave and not understanding why they leave. There's a lot of different ways to handle that. A lot of it comes down to reframing, depending on what level you want to do it at. And I don't and none of them are mutually exclusive. So Stefan is asking mind control skills. Mind control skills on Clubhouse, and depending on how big it grows and how much what people ask and things like that, then tools for clarity. Okay. Tools for clarity. I think the best tools for clarity are eliciting the submodalities of a time when you had clarity and moving whatever is unclear into the submodality space and character and attributes of it and moving it into that place. And then checking in with your value system to make sure it's integral or it's in harmony with your own sense of what's right and wrong in the world. So Natalia question, why stated are so important? Do you mean states, Natalia? Paul asked, do I know who Bacchus is? As in the Greek or Roman god of wine and partying? Is that who you're talking about, Paul? Because that's the only Bacchus I know. Yep. Yeah, I'm quite familiar with the mythology. Yes, states. Because states under state, Natalia's asking a very good but very basic question, and it's not one that a lot of people talk about. It's a great question. Why are states so important? Because states control everything. States control the kind of information you pay attention to first, what you give priority to on a neurological level as well as on a values level. And the ability to move from one state to another actually creates a viral effect. How many people ever heard the phrase emotional contagion? Your mirror neurons are specifically designed to tap into the states, the psycho-emotional vibrational states of other humans and replicate that inside of you so you can understand what's going on with them intuitively and empathically. If you understand the pervasiveness of state and how it underlies every other form of human interaction, and you know how to modulate state, you can literally influence entire rooms of people before you even open your mouth. So they are absolutely critical for everything human beings do. So I hope that answers the question. Adam Lee Brown, there's a diagram you share in some of your YouTube videos highlighting one's emotional and psychological needs, and it looks like a bullseye. There's a few levels to it. Can you chat briefly about it? Okay, so what you're talking about is known as the Universal Persuasion Protocol, or what we call the CPI, the Critical Path of Influence. And it starts with controlling your state, getting rapport, using your language, managing the state of the subject or target, hijacking or jumping into their process cognitively that they use, and then bonding to their emotional values, their deeply held needs and desires on a very deep limbic and primary reptilian level. And so what it does, once you understand the diagram, it literally tells you what to do next in any persuasion situation. Let's say I'm going to go to a networking function, right? And my outcome for that function is to make as many contacts as possible, leave a great impression, and have people want to work with me or want to do business with me or think of me when they see somebody that could use my product or service. Well, that's my outcome. So I need to understand what I want and how I'm going to get there. How am I going to know I'm getting that? The next thing I got to do is I got to say, okay, what state do I need to be in so the people I meet will automatically go into the state I need them to be in to like me? Right? So that's my state control. Do I need to be fun? Do I need to be playful? Do I need to be easygoing? What state do I need to be very dominant? Do I need to be very playful? Do I need to be trustworthy and sincere? Right? I step into that state. I embody that state. And now I make my approach and I use whatever language skills that I have. For most people who are at the basic level in Planet David, that's the ECHO technique. The reason we teach you the ECHO technique is because it's the easiest, it covers the most bases, and it just gets more and more powerful, and it bridges the gap between all the different levels. So once we have our language skills in place, now we're going to manage their state of the person. We're going to dig down into whatever state they're in, determine where they're at and where I need them to be, and I'm going to jump into their process, and I'm going to bond their criteria and values so that I can cement everything that I want them to find desirable to me, my product, my service. Dating context, same exact thing. What state do I need to be in to be super attractive to the person I want to get to? I'm going to embody that state. I'm going to make my approach. I'm going to use whatever language skills I have, in which case that could be ECHO technique, could be 3 magic questions, could be some of the needs evaluations that we use in the behavioral programming and attraction mastery, whatever it is. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to use those skill sets to manage the state of the person that I want to attract. I'm going to jump into whatever process they use for deciding to get with somebody. And then I'm going to link it to the things they most want and need and desire on a physical, mental, and emotional level. It's the Universal Persuasion Protocol because it will work in the bar room, the meeting room, the negotiation room, the courtroom, the bedroom, the classroom. Chris Dombos checking in from Madeira, Portugal. He can tell you firsthand that this thing is worth over $100 million because he's used this puppy multiple times in court, right? It just works and it works and it works, okay? So Natalia's asking a question, how to speak truth to power? I don't know what that means. When you say truth to power, Natalia, what does that actually mean? So Ivy Red Bean Bunny says, people are shocked when I teach them how sending energy works and then I can feel intentions. Clearly don't know how I can feel others' thoughts, but I just can't. Well, it's through your mirror neuron network and your proprioception, right? And then when you get more into the more advanced trainings, you'll learn about your energy body and your spirit body, and then your eternal soul, which is the four levels, right? But most people don't need to know any of that stuff to make this stuff work, even though you're working at those levels indirectly. Universal Persuasion Protocol, Adam Lee's asking about. It's real simple. You can find it in our CPI Level 1 course. You can find it in the Killer Influence Secrets of Covert Hypnosis Home Study course. You can find it in Defense Against the Dark Arts. And it forms the foundation of all of our influence training. Because once you have it, you're unstoppable. Everything else is just a bell and a whistle. Okay? But those are the places you could find it. Unless you want to look at it. You can look at some of our free content, like our webinars and stuff, on our YouTube channel. But it's mostly just an overview. It doesn't give you the in-depth training that the live events and the products do. Seth Breitbart, yeah, okay. Christopher says, right on, David. Yeah, buddy. Healing sound vibrations of frequency. Any chance you'll be coming out with any more ATCM techniques? Tai Chi, Qigong. ATCM? Applied? What are we talking about? In terms, what do you mean by ATCM? I want to make sure I got the acronym right. Chances are I will. I just don't know what you're referring to. Missing link 8. Shouldn't people know about the soul level before they use any other influence trainings so they can use it ethically? Well, the problem is that there's so many layers of acquired personality between what your eternal soul, what the Taoists call your original face, and the identities you've created. So the simple answer is yes. The problem is that functionally they won't stick to it long enough to get a result. Most people in Planet David are looking to come in, get the answer to a problem that they have, and apply it instantly. And because of the vibration in Planet David, the sociopaths, the narcissists, the real predators of the world, they don't stick for very long. And so, while on one level it would seem that we should teach about the immortal soul and the eternal soul first, it's not really where people's heads are at. And so I'm not a persuasion cop, but the truth is that our whole approach to influence is moving through the world, making everyone we meet feel ridiculously good, and showing them how to get everything they want by helping them by doing what we want them to do. So it's a total win-win, and it's in harmony and alignment with most people's higher virtues. So it's built into the system, and you work up to a deeper and deeper and deeper level of understanding in the various levels of influence that we teach. Because the verbal, as powerful as CPI and Killer Influence are, they're the entry-level stuff. Right? And for those of you who are wondering, Killer Influence since 2020 has been hailed as the #1 NLP and covert hypnosis course in the world. In a contest or an evaluation, I didn't even know what was going on. So, and we haven't, with this, all we've done since 2006, since we created the course, was just streamline the content. It's still ahead of the curve everywhere. And so, but the idea is that we can move through the world getting Zig Ziglar said it best. You can get anything in life that you want if you're just willing to help enough other people get what they want. And Killer Influence and CPI is all about that. Okay, so on one level you're right, but on a functional level, it doesn't work out that way. Okay, Rick's Rock Rap says, I know just a bit about NLP. Me too. Means of, hold on a second, there's some things that jumped up here. Okay, what does speak the truth to power mean? Stand up for what's right and tell people in charge what's what. That's the idea behind the phrase speak truth to power, and expression for courageously confronting. Okay, then when we start talking about courageously confronting, what's the context? And do you actually have a chance of winning? You know, one of the things that we have to talk about when we talk about confronting people, and we, again, my job here isn't to get on a soapbox and tell you that, you know, you should martyr yourself for the good. That's something you have to decide is in your wheelhouse. But I will tell you this: I believe the reason we talk about SHIT, strategic human influence training, or strategic human influence technologies, is because there are battles that you can win, and there's battles that you can't. And the person who can control and dictate the environment and the time of the battle has the greatest chance of victory. So one of the things that we have to do is we have to be committed to our cause, but we also have to think strategically. Getting on your soapbox and screaming at the onrushing car isn't going to help you stop the car, unless the person in the car who's dead set on running you down can hear you, is affected by your good words and intentions, and decides to put on the brake. But if that person is dead set on their outcome and you're just in the way, depending on their moral code, they might run you over. So again, this idea of speaking truth to power, everything I teach is about power, and it's about finding your truth. The problem is truth is different for different people, right? You know, when we talk about ultimate truth on a spiritual level, there are very few. Everything else is very subjective. So I'm all about power, but I'm also about intelligently applied power, which involves understanding your target, understanding your theater of engagement, and understanding the timing of that engagement and what approach to take, right? Strategy, not passion is important, conviction is important, strategy is just as important. I know a lot of very brave, very passionate people who are dead now because they believed in their stuff and they didn't care what was in their way. They just decided to martyr themselves for the good and hoped other people would pick up the flag. You know, I got a family, I got things, you know, I want you to be powerful in a practical way, right? There's, you know, it's nice to be an idealist, but idealism, the world will beat idealism out of you really, really quickly if you're not careful. So I believe I'm all about being effective. So hopefully that helps. Rafael Lopez. Hi, David. Do you have an online NLP course? How fast do you think a belief can change? Oh, depending on the context, depending on who the people involved, a belief can change in seconds. Get Renegade Reframing, Art of Conversational Belief Change, and apply the 14 patterns to your own beliefs and notice what happens. Speaking truth to power means confronting an authority figure. Okay, well, there's different ways to confront authority figures, right? What's the most strategically viable way to do that? A lot of times it's not head on. Okay, I'm just telling you that. Let's see here. Hey, Millions of Savagery says, hey, Mr. Snyder, big fan. I got into hypnosis after watching some of your videos about 4 or 5 years ago. Awesome. I hope that that investment has paid dividends for you. Adam Lee Brown, how might I be charismatic and playful but still hold a masculine frame in the context of a romantic relationship? Oh, that's really easy. All you got to do is embody the other romantic hero traits. Be adventurous, be tough, be relentless, be assertive, and a little bit on the cocky, funny side. And as long as you're doing that in the right proportions, you shouldn't have any problem. Because the romantic hero traits are naturally powerful, positive, masculine traits. Now, a lot of romantic heroines have these things too, but they have other things that that buffer their systems or their approaches. Let's see here. Let's see. What does speak the truth? Okay. I think Italian, I've covered that. Mirella de Lima says, hi, what do you recommend for recurring emotional flashbacks of bad memories? Okay, when we talk about bad memories, what do you feel when the bad memory comes up? Is it just, hold on a second. I was the wife telling me it's time for me to shut down. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I see all of your questions here, and they're really good questions. I really don't want to stop, but I have to kind of go. So let's do this. Everybody who has asked a question that I haven't answered yet, when this video goes live, please retype your questions in the chat or in the comment section, and I'll do another live and I'll answer these questions, or I'll answer them in the comment section. So healing, yeah, and traditional Chinese medicine ending the class. Yeah, I've got the whole 5-element face reading class or program that's starting in April in Dallas. So for those of you who want to learn the classical Chinese face reading system, everything from the medical side to the personality and temperament profiling side, the spiritual side, the Shen side, those are things that we've got coming up. I'm excited about it. What's a good starter to read? For what? Start with The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to NLP by Richard Bandler. I think it's probably a good place to start. Yeah. Paul's asking, what are your thoughts on the divine masculine? Okay, it's a great question. I'm happy to answer that. How to use the tetralema? Are you talking about the tetragrammaton? E8 tone? Natai's asking, why and how spinning technique helps, speeds up manifestation? Thanks. Okay, take all of these questions. I'm going to actually scrape this in the chat. And I'm going to actually put them on my OneNote. And what I'll do, for those of you tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll log on tomorrow and I'll actually go down these questions first and I'll answer them. For those of you who want to join me on Clubhouse, here's how I'd like it to be. I'd like it to be like an Ask Me Anything kind of a room. So whenever we schedule a Clubhouse meeting, I want you to submit your questions first, and then I'll spend the entire Clubhouse event just answering the questions. And then if I see somebody cool in the audience, I'll invite them up to do the Clubhouse meeting with me. I'm trying to get my social media back up to date. So hopefully that helps. Hey, there's Allegra. Good to see you again, kiddo. So anyway, I'm sorry to have to jump off so early, but and who knows? Maybe if I doubt I'll have time tonight, but look for me tomorrow because I'm waiting for my brand new Samsung Flip 2 to show up. So I'll be here at the office all day long. And for those of you who are in the Dublin area next week, I will be in Dublin from the 12th through the 17th. So if you're in Europe anyway, we'll go ahead and answer those things for you. Anyway, I got to go. I love you all. Thank you so much for your continued support and enthusiasm. Please like and share these videos, these AMAs. Get the word out. Let people know that if you got questions relating to human influence on any level, manifestation, meditation, magic, mind, all that cool stuff, like and share. Let everybody know. Let's get Planet David even bigger and help more people get the life they want the way that they want it. Good night. God bless. Love you all. Take care.